free astrotheology course, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's my pleasure to be with y'all right now. Let me check. Uh, let me check to make sure we have a connection. Give me one moment. All right. So here we are, y'all. We're going to continue. We're still in the same course. I have to do the same introduction every time, y'all, because I have so many classes. All right, so our course textbook is The Astrology of the Old Testament, or The Lost Word Regained, published in 1892, and the author is Carl Anderson. Yeah, I have to do this every time because there's so many classes. Let me check the volume. All right, yeah. So there's so many classes. Right now, I think we're up to 67 in this one, and then I have the other astral theology. I think there's at least probably 1,000 hours or more, at least 1,000 hour library uh, just on astral theology. And then of course there's everything, all the other video content that I have. So bear with me for having that. It's very necessary. So we're gonna pick up on page. How do I close this out? Hold on, y'all. So we're going to pick up on page 160. The link, at the call-in number, uh, 55, the call-in number 530-554-9419, 530-554-9419. You can call in, say whatever it is you want to say. If you ask a question, if I'm able to answer it, I will. If not, I won't. Okay? There's a link. So that number is in the comment section. There's also a link so you can enter into the classroom. Okay, I mean, you can enter into the live stream if you like. Just be respectful. All right. If you're not, I'm gonna kick you out. All right. So here we are, y'all. Page 160. Okay, last paragraph. So this is the beginning of our discussion about Mercury. All right, Mercury. So remember, during this is chapter 13. This chapter is the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. Okay, so the uh, characteristics of the planets, their energetic effects, uh, that affect personality and phenotype, the way you look and the way you act. All right, as above, so below, as below, so above. All right, so the personality and phenotype matches to uh, the planets. All right, so on and so forth. So page 160, last paragraph. Here we go. I'm gonna check the chat from time, as best I can from time to time, y'all. Okay. Let me get the volume. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to get the screen to go full screen. Let me see something, y'all. Let me change the orientation. Maybe no. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Nope. Oh well. All right. Guess I better let it alone. Okay, so here we go, y'all. The astronomical character for the planet Mercury is. So here's the. Today we say icon or pictograph. So here's Mercury. Everybody should know that. So the at the top, those are either wings or two or horns. Okay, either wings or horns. Either wings or horns. And actually, you know what it made me think about? Uh, I think it's European kings a long, long time ago. They would wear horns uh, as a crown. They would wear horns as a crown. And then this is why you see some statues uh, and paintings of Moses where he has horns. It also has to do with the etymology of the word um, that's translated uh, as horns and then also light. I haven't talked about that in years, so I don't really remember everything that has to do with it, but y'all can research it on your own. All right. So the astronomical character for the planet Mercury is what I just showed y'all. Okay, Mercury is called Hermes, horned or winged messenger of the gods. Horned or winged messenger of the gods. Okay, so when you see the word messenger, you can associate that with Messiah, right? Messenger or angel, winged angels, winged messengers. So angels astrologically are angles of light uh, that are encoded with energy and information that can be decoded. Okay, y'all. So angel in religion, we is presented to you as a man or a woman with wings or a baby with wings. Astrologically, it is nothing more. Angels are angles of light, right? Angles of light, and the angles change every second of the day. The angles are going to change. Why? Because the sun, because there's movement. Let me put it like that. Because there's movement. Okay, so the sun relative to the earth is in a different position. So the angle of the sun rays, the angle of cosmic energy, all of this, which is coming in the form of light, all of this is the angles are changing from moment to moment. Okay, all right. So let's continue. So Mercury is called Hermes, horned or winged messenger of the gods, plural of the gods. Now remember, gods is an injected word. So you need to know how to deal with gods. Okay? Gods was injected uh, during the medieval times. So, just as an intellectual exercise, what word would you replace gods with? What word would you replace gods with? Let's see if you can figure that out. And then here's another question. What if, and this is just being analytical, what if this concept is modern? In other words, it didn't exist in ancient times and they just made it up, which is, and they conveniently threw in their messenger of the gods. So I'm not saying either way. I'm thinking uh, critically about it. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. So Mercury rules over the thought Mercury rules over the thought. Now, wait a minute, y'all. What is man? What is man? Man is thought made manifest from the soil. Man is thought made manifest from the soil. Mercury rules over thought and intellect or reasoning faculty or powers. Mercury rules over thought, intellect, which is your reasoning faculty, which is your power to reason. So thought would include imagination. Of course, imagination, that's your workshop of the mind, that place where you go into and create and destroy, right? So for those of you who are familiar with the Silva method, so you would be in a relaxed state to get your brain wave slowed down. Uh, I think it's 7 to 10, or maybe 7 to 12 per minute, and then that's the alpha wave state. Okay, but anyway, this is Mercury. Y'all see? Do y'all see that, Moors? Moors are thought made manifest from the soil. Okay, we are thought made manifest from the soil. When we have to, quote unquote, connotatively speaking, be God, we go into what? Our imagination. All right, it's best done when we're relaxed in the alpha brainwave state. Thought, intellect, reasoning faculty, reasoning powers, imagination, the mind or soul. Make the distinction. He says the mind or soul. Well, soul, we don't have a soul. Soul. The Catholics made that up. They made it up. I've shown it already. They took the Latin SOL, and it's not even ancient. They took the Latin SOL and put a U after the O. Latin SOL is the SU, excuse me, the SU in sun. And we have a SUN sun inside of us. Y'all see it? So we have a SOL, a sun, and this is again the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. So we don't have a soul. So what is the author talking about? The mind or soul. He's using the mind and the soul synonymously. So what is he talking about? Y'all pay attention, pay close attention. Mercury rules over the mind or soul. Soul is being used synonymously or having the same meaning as mind. Remember, the first Hermetic law, all is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. Consciousness. Some people will call it unlimited intelligence. Okay, all consciousness, all intelligence. Divine providence, city consciousness, Christ consciousness. Okay, now let's continue. And directly, Mercury rules directly over the brain. Y'all see that? So now this author is acknowledging that there is a physical brain made out of tissue, made out of cells, a lot of different kinds of cells, which is separate and distinct from the mind. Separate and distinct from the mind, separate and distinct from thought. So Mercury rules directly over the brain, where these are situated, where the mind is situated, where your powers of reasoning, your intellect, your faculty of reasoning, rather, your intellect, your imagination, where all of those are situated. As aptly stated by the teacher. Now he continues. Listen, you're going to understand this now, or have a better understanding of this now. After casting out the evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane, he saith, quote unquote, what will a man give in exchange for his soul? Did y'all get that? After casting out the evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane, he said, quote unquote, what will a man give in exchange for his soul? What will a man give in exchange for his mind? What will a man give in exchange? Or what will a man give to have a sound mind, to have a normal mind, to have a normal functioning mind, normal functioning intellectual powers, normal functioning faculty of reason, a normal functioning intellect? What will a man give in exchange for his or her normal functioning intellect? What will you give? What will you give? Quote unquote, after casting out evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane. So here's the situation. There's someone who's insane, let's say clinically insane, schizophrenic, bipolar, depressed, uh, uh, Alzheimer's, any of the many mental illnesses. These are said to be what? Equivalent to evil spirits. So mental illnesses are said to be evil spirits, not devils and demons. And he healed. Oh no, my battery is low, y'all. I didn't realize that. And he healed the mentally ill using what? Magnetism, or even perhaps a form of vibratory magnetism, or even maybe it was Reiki. But he healed them, gave them a normal functioning intellectual faculty, normal functioning reason. What will a man give in exchange for a healthy mind, a normally functioning faculty of reason, normal reasoning and intellectual powers? What will a man give? Even though we know, we've been told, and we know from experience, from seeing other people and maybe even ourselves, thinking is the most difficult thing to do, and most people won't do it. Most people will not think. They will not think. They will respond emotionally. They will see things through the lens of their emotions, or they'll respond in a pattern uh, behavior, but they will not think unless you force them somehow, or coach them somehow, educate them somehow. Thinking is the most difficult thing for people to do. Why? Because fear, training, etc., etc. But anyway, let's keep it moving. After casting out the evil spirits, the evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane, he said, "What will a man give in exchange for his soul?" Namely, his reason, or unaffected brain power. Mercury is he that the ancients call Bud, the Messiah. The ancients called Mercury Bud, the Messiah or messenger. Also, a Rab or Rabbi or Rabbi, a wandering teacher. I'm going to show y'all this. Mercury loves much solitude and desert places and often to be alone. That makes sense, right? Because a thinking person likes to be alone to analyze, to imagine. So you need to be alone to do that, right? So let me show y'all this. This is on page 160. So Mercury is called Bud the Messiah, which is messenger. So y'all can see this is going right into Messiah. Arab, they're talking about the Moors in ancient time. Okay, Rabbi, Arab, and Rabbi. Y'all see it? A wandering teacher. Mercury loves much solitude and desert places, and often to be alone. The Arabians, the Moors, are well versed in astrological lore and in the highest order of mathematics. And from them, much learning has emanated. He's talking about Moors here, not the pale-faced Arabs that we see on TV. They were not even in the picture at this time, right? They hadn't even been created when these sciences, uh, when astrology, mathematics, and all of these sciences, uh, they were not here. They are a product of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. Okay, their ancestry goes back with the Neanderthal, with the Han Uman. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's keep it moving. And from them, much learning has emanated. And as they were nomadic, and that's not true, our ancestors were not nomadic. They may have become nomadic out of conquest, as a result of conquest, and taught as they constantly moved from desert to oasis. Ever changeful, they were called and still retain the name of Arabs. Now, y'all think critically. Think critically. How would a group of people wandering from desert to desert and all of the problems you got to deal with in the desert, like staying alive, finding water, finding food, Where are you going to get time to develop geometry and high forms of mathematics if you're out in the desert all the time? And it's cold in the desert at night and hot during the day. So now you have to make preparations to deal with the heat and the cold. So it don't make any sense, y'all. These people, nomadic people, will spend all of their time trying to survive. Okay? But anyway, we're on page 161. As they were an offshoot of the great Eastern astrological teacher and also descended from Abram. And as they were constantly at war and pillaging, see, that's not true. This may have been true as a result of being conquered and colonization. They are designated, and also I almost forgot to mention, it may also be true as a result of, so the conquered and conquest has to do with the Han Uman, the Neanderthal, when that started taking place. Okay, so they were constantly at war and pillaging. They are designated as coming by their knowledge unlawfully. So the author is acknowledging the same thing I'm saying. There was no way they would have had an opportunity to develop that type of knowledge. Venus rules over the sacred day of the Arabians. So now we're dealing with Venus, y'all, which is Friday. Venus is called Al-Huzza. Think about that, Al-Huzza. That sounds like Huzzy, right? Remember when Venus, the negative part of Venus, remember, uh, would be Horus, right? Should be Horus. So Al-Huzza, modern times, Huzzy, like a loose woman. Y'all remember people used to say Huzzy? My mother used to call women a Huzzy. So Venus is called Al-Huzza, now vulgarized into the English language as a hussy. There you go, or lewd woman, or an unlawful wife. Abram is described as deriving his concubine in the desert and deserting her and her son. But the Lord prophesies that Ishmael shall become, quote unquote, a nation, countless as the sands as in desert, of the sea in multitude. Okay, y'all? So let's continue. This gets very interesting when it gets down to the commerce part about Mercury. I want y'all to see this. The commerce and the scandal. The commerce and the scandal associated with Mercury. Why? Because that's what they are doing in the West. Yeah, he's going to talk about the bills of attainder, all of this stuff. Y'all watch. Page 161. Not just the bills of attainder, but the Siskiyou Trust, the mortgages. Just be patient. Here we go. As Mercury seldom gets far from the Escheat sun, Mercury is the closest planet to the sun and is never seen except at twilight or at early daybreak. Why? Because Mercury is too close to the sun. Mercury is truly, quote, dwelling in the bosom of the Father. The aspect of this planet, that's Mercury, are very important. The aspects of Mercury are very important. And the judgment formed over a nativity, I'm thinking he's talking about a nativity chart, a birth chart, from the aspects of Mercury with other planets shows conclusively whether the person is morally good or morally evil. Let's correct that. Let's correct that. Not morally good, not morally evil. Whether the person will operate in his higher self or his lower self. Okay, because morality changes um, per culture. Wherever you go in the world, they have different standards of morality. Okay, so is this man or woman acting in their higher self or lower self? Thus, Mercury sitteth on the right hand of the Father, and shall act as a judge. Do y'all see that? Christ sits at the right hand of the Father and will judge the nations. Well, Christ is Mercury. Jesus is Mercury. Well, let's just say Christ. The Messiah is Mercury. But we went over that before. Christianity is commerce. Okay, yo? Now we see what this means from the point of view of astrology, from natural phenomena, remixed into a biblical doctrine. Christ sitting at the right hand of God to judge the nations. Thus Mercury sitteth on the right hand of the Father, and shall act as a judge, and show in regard to a person in question whether he shall be saved or accused. There you have it. There you have it. That's the natural phenomenon associated with the sun, who is the Father, and Mercury, which is the closest planet to the sun. Therefore, Mercury is what? What's the word that they use? Dwelling in the bosom of the Father. Mercury is getting the most light, right? So Mercury is the most intelligent. Mercury is the most cerebral. Everybody see that? And because he's in the bosom of the Father, he's sitting at the Father's right hand to judge the nations, as we just said. Judge whether you are in your higher self or lower self. But see, that's you doing that judging, because you are divine when you dive inward, when you look inward. Only you can make that judgment, nobody else. Okay, but let's continue. The planet is changeable in nature. That's key. Mercury is changeable in nature. If aspect is well of other planets, Mercury is good. If evilly aspected, and especially of evil planets, Mercury is evil. Okay? So if Mercury is well aspected with other planets, that person will be higher self. If it's ill aspected with other planets, that person will be lower self. Okay? Mercury, listen. Mercury rules over astrologians, over astrologers, inventors, teachers, students, bookkeepers and booksellers, secretaries, letter writing. So what does this have to do? This has to do with intellect, imagination, and passing messages. Typewriters, books, printers, and publishers of books, traveling salesmen and saleswomen. So you have to sell people, right? You have to show them why they need your product in terms of how it's going to solve their problems. Okay, and give them a reason to buy from you. Okay, so that's intellectual. All manner of subtle arts, depending on much thought. Okay, so things that require thinking, arts that require you to think and interpret. Over stocks, here we go, y'all. Mercury rules over stocks when issued in certificates. When issued in certificates, deeds, bonds, all manner of writing, oratory, and measurements. Let's do that again. Mercury rules over stocks when issued in certificates. When issued in certificates. So let's say there's a bond, and then 6 months, 9 months later, that bond is converted into an asset. Or let's say there are bonds that get converted into stocks. Deeds. This is feudalism. Bonds. Mercury rules over bonds. Mercury rules over bondage. Okay? This is why Christians are what? Taught that they are sinners and that they need a savior. Everybody see it? Right? You're a sinner. In commerce, a sinner means debtor. So you are a debtor. So since you are a debtor, there has to be what? A creditor. Everybody see it? Everybody see it? So this is a oh, hey y'all, if my battery goes out, I'm 5%. If my battery goes out, I'm gonna keep going until my battery goes out. We'll pick it up tomorrow, okay? I'm 5%. So what is this telling us? Mercury ruling over bonds and deeds. This is ruling over what? Loss of birthright. Birthright theft. Uh, Jesus, the Christ figure, is involved. Again, this is another evidence of birthright theft. All manner of writing, such as what? Such as what, y'all? Statutes, legalese. Y'all see it? Codes. See, all manner of writing, oratory, and measurement. Oh, what other type of certificate and bonds? How about Federal Reserve notes? How about fiat? How about fiat? All forms of bondage, physical bondage, uh, financial bondage. Everybody see it? Feudalism, all manner of writing. That would include writs, right? Oratory and measurements over architects, actors, declaimers, and literature, diviners, and astronomers. Patents applied for and issued, pension papers, all manner of libra, science, merchants, and all mercantile affairs. Messengers traveling, so y'all commerce, commerce, maritime admiralty law, and all such persons as do or deal in the above mentioned matters. So we're talking about what? Attorneys, financiers, financial institutions, and over the willpower, and over the willpower. Y'all see that? The willpower, that's your hermetic masculine mental energy. Memory, speech. So now we're getting into what? Also corruption of the blood and attainder and bills of attainder and reasoning faculties. See, breaking the law, right? Breaking the law results in attainder. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68, the curses. When ill aspected, Mercury represents frauds. Y'all see that? Mercury represents fraud. All right, fraud. So these de facto in North America, the de facto uh, corporate, de facto courts, they have um, no judicial power, and they're acting fraudulently, cheating and petty thievery, swindling. Do y'all see this? Are they not involved in fraud and swindles? What is it? Is it USC 15? Is it 1508 3414? I don't remember. Falsity, false accounts. Y'all remember the feudalism? Everybody sees this. It's right here. Embezzlements, having trusts, and your name on it, or your straw man's name on it, and you don't know nothing about it. Breaches of trust, right? When they don't follow orders, when you make a judgment and they don't do anything, breaches even of public trust, not supporting the Constitution according to their oath, or not even having an oath. Mercury rules over mines of quicksilver and cinnabon. So we got to do more with this, y'all, because uh, we see that the hybrids are using this. The hybrids are using this as part of their strategy and tactics. They're using Mercury as part of their strategy and tactics. Okay, so breaches of trust, cheatery, false accounts, right? The your utility bills and all other bills, they're double dipping, two accounts, right? All of that stuff is fraud. Even what you perceive it as, you've been tricked. It's not what you think it is. Okay, and dub and trouble of all kinds by the before mentioned. Mercury rules over mines of quicksilver, cinnabar, and of cinnabar. There should be an aspect of Mercury and Mars. Of course, Mars, y'all, is war. Christianity and war at the same time. Christianity and war. Physical hot violence, economic violence, uh, bioterrorism, or biological warfare. Everything that they do. Mercury's color is soft pearl or dove color. So the soft pearl dove color, dove flies down on Jesus at his baptism. Or pale azure blue and lilac. Mercury denotes a very active person, one never idle, often even busy about matters of no importance, always studious, rather fond of being alone. That was Christ's personality, right? That was Jesus' personality, rather. The historical Jesus personality. Delighting in the seashore and beaches, and to view in boundless deserts. So this again, deserts reference to sand, right? Of a retiring disposition and bashful. His strength lies in Gemini and Mercury. So rather than continuing until the video goes out, let's stop here. We're going to pick it up on page 162. I wish y'all would have called in or came into the class. This is a topic everybody should uh, should be able to discuss, right? We all know about JC. I have, and you know what? The next time we do it, I'll go through some more of the affidavit of facts. Um, yeah, I have. So we'll go through that. Look at the fraud. Look at the cheatery, as they said. Look at the swindling, um, breaches of trust. So we can see some real life examples of those um, when I come back. I had a very, very stressful last few days, y'all. Um, but anyway, we're going to make it do what it do. I'm tired. And be prepared. Y'all go to enforcetheconstitution.org, download as many of those writs as you can, read through them, and then within the next 12 or 24 hours when I come back, y'all can call in and participate. All right? You can call in, participate. You'll have the writs with you. You can talk about what you know about JC, the price figure, so on and so forth. And you can talk about the writs and what you see. in terms of the fraud. I mean, it's there. All you got to do is read them, right? All you got to do is read them, and you'll see the information plain as day. Islam to all the Moors, I self-law am master. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.